Hello everybody, it's Deal here from Firm But Fair Gaming, bringing you another BellWright video. Today we're going to be covering 10 tips slash things I wish I knew earlier about BellWright. Without further ado, let's jump into it. And here we are with tip number 1, and that is when you're building your starting base, build near a road. So as you can see here, this is just a beginner base, my very first one that I'd started out, and this is how far away I am from the road. So there's our original town, and the reason that you want to be near a road rather than miles away is when you research and get to the travel signs, you will want to be able to warp around the map, and in this case with my base all the way out here, I would have to build a travel sign down at the road, and this would be a 1 or 2 minute run back and forth every time I want to warp somewhere. So for the first quality of life thing that you can do for yourself to make it easier, more fun, is build beside the road. There is a spot down here where the road is that I haven't yet uncovered in this game, but where my main base is in my main single player, and we build right beside the road. So as soon as we want to go somewhere, we just step to the road, warp wherever, and then when we warp back, we are back at our main base. So, like I said, tip number 1, build near the road. And here we are with tip number 2. Do not kill all the wild animals. So if you are hunting boars or wolves, if you need the pelts, the food, the hides, the tusks, especially early on when you need the tusks for a few quests, do not kill all the wild animals. As you can see here, we have 2 wolves. This is usually actually a boar spawn, but if you were like me when I first started playing this game, I came in here and I cleared out all the boars. The population is kind of like in the real world. So if you kill absolutely everything, you're going to find it incredibly hard time to find more of them. You'll probably want to leave 1 or 2 alive so that they can repopulate. I killed all the boars in my solo game, and then it felt like 2 weeks of game time for them to come back. Additionally, it's not just you that kills them. They will fight bandits as they walk by, so bandits will also kill them. So if you do happen to find a little gathering of them and you want to kill some of them, maybe reduce their population to 2, but do not wipe them all out. You'll do yourself a favor in the future for when you need to farm their pelts, hides, or anything like that, because they'll actually be there. And if there are bandit camps nearby, because there was one up here that is also thinning the population of their spawns, grab your companions, go over there, have a nice fight, and take them out. Tip number 3, build more traps earlier. So at the start of the game, we create the 3 traps to give to the Elder, and we place one in the woods for ourselves. I would highly recommend having more traps set up. So here I have 4. And the reason being for that is pelts are incredibly important when we are gearing up our companions and building their armor. I am currently doing that, and I actually ran out of pelts, so it would have been highly more advantageous for me to have more traps set up earlier. I was only running like 1. And really, I should even probably have more than the 4 here. So I have now 10 followers, and I am in the part of arming them with better pants, chest pieces, and that sort of thing, gloves and helms. And I ran out. So if I had been on this a bit earlier, my life would be easier right now for when I want to go on raids with my companions and we want to defend our base and all that stuff, because without quality armor at the stage I'm at now, they just fall over dead. So that's why tip number 3 is more traps earlier. It'll just pay off in the long run. Tip number 4, kill the chickens. So to get some of our early advanced armor like this, we are going to need feathers. So there's only 2 ways to get feathers. They are to kill chickens, or you see that bird way over there flying in the air. There was another one over there a second ago. We need to shoot them out of the air because we need feathers. Now, shooting the bird out of the air, somewhat challenging. Killing this chicken, pretty simple. The downside to killing the chicken is it is going to cost us 10 trust with whoever owns the chicken. But honestly, it is easier to gain the trust in most cases because we have so many coins than it is sometimes to shoot the bird out of the air. There's a whole trick to doing the bird out of the air, But early on, it just might, with the arrows being a prime resource, or like, you don't have a lot of them, it might just be easier to kill the chicken. If I can actually hit the chicken. Can I not hit the chicken? There we go. Jeez. So there I lost the 10 trust, but honestly, it's going to be worth the feathers just because it'll help make the armor quicker, faster, and it is a lot easier than shooting the birds out of the air. Um, but if you are a true marksman, maybe you don't need to. But for me, when I came across chickens early, it was just more advantageous to kill the chicken. Here we are at tip number 5, and that is food stacks. So as you can see here, for example, we have 120 radish all in one stack, and it is slowly deteriorating, and then it will become 119. However, if this was split into different chests or stockpiles, let's say we had a few different ones here, I can just show you by putting them in my inventory. As you can see, now they are all deteriorating all at once. So if you can imagine that you had different stacks and different stockpiles, these would all deteriorate at once. So if you had like 5 stacks of 20, they would all become, once these expire, would become 19, and then 18 and 17. So depending on how many stacks you are, that's how many are deteriorating at once. Whereas if you have them in just one stockpile, which is why I have a stockpile that is only for food, they only deteriorate one at a time. So it is a great way to make your food last longer. And you could even, if you have, like I have 2 stockpiles for food, you could even go more advanced. You can go into your settings here and specify only certain types of foods so that they stack up even better instead. Because if I go over to this one, I'm sure I have some stacks that could have been in the other one. Yeah, because I haven't done that next level thinking. But that is what one big tip, and especially early on, it was incredibly helpful to even just have like one of your chests here set up for only food. Here I have this all turned off for personal preference because I just throw stuff in it. But that would be one thing to do to make it stack up so it doesn't end up all over the place. And you just don't want to be out of food early, especially with your companions. They complain and then they just become lazy. So stacking food, highly effective, highly useful. Tip number 6, do not recruit all from one village. So early on, it was pretty convenient to recruit all of my followers from oh my goodness, I can't even pronounce it even after all that time, so I'm not going to try to. From here, from the original town. I apologize. I just cannot pronounce the AE after the H. Anyhow, I digress. So when you recruit all from one village, if you go to their morale, I mean, I fixed it now, but before they were complaining about how it seemed like the entire village had moved here. So what you want to do is, for me anyways, I found that I recruited my first 6 followers from here and they started complaining. Ideally, you would like to recruit your first 4, maybe 5 from the original city, and then you can get a couple more from Padstow, because if you have too much for one thing, it just affects their morale, then they're less productive and they complain a lot more. So you want to space it out. Don't grab from all one city, plus when you go to the other towns, you get more advanced people, and you just have happy followers. Tip number 7, shields are amazing. They come in incredibly handy, especially when you are outnumbered. That was actually a good shot. And like so. It definitely levels the playing field, especially when you encounter bandits like this, who like to also have shields, and when you can be outnumbered, you just are able to block. It really increases your survivability early, and it can turn the tide for sure, especially when you want to put it on your followers. It's actually talking while doing this. There we go, we got rid of his shield, and we still have ours. Turning the tide in our favor. That was just I should have blocked that one, but oh wow. Block. He's very good. He's doing incredibly well at parrying me there. I was not doing very well at fighting him. And as you can see, we're just 1v3ing this. This guy's going to run away. I want my bow now just to make this nice and easy. As you can see, okay, he's really running away. We'll just let him go. But as you can see, shields are incredibly useful. They absorb a lot of punishment. You can easily turn the tide and fight 3, maybe 4 at once solo, like in hand-to-hand there. And yeah, I can't help but say I wish I had crafted shields earlier. They were a huge lifesaver, especially if I put them on my followers. They changed the tide of many skirmishes where previously I would have had trouble. Hey, he came back finally. Where's he going? Alright, fine. He doesn't want anything to do with me. But yes, I highly recommend shields. Lifesavers. They work well on your followers. Just get shields. Tip number 8. Shirts are useless. So here we have the rugged shirt, the jacket, tunic. So if we look at this, like the rugged shirt is armor 15, the reinforced jacket is 17. I haven't even bothered to get to the tunic, the jerkin, or the rawhide jerkin, because if we look at our other chests that we can wear here, the adventurer's garb, studded shirt, strengthened shirt, and the gambeson, these are all higher armor. So this goes 15, 17, I'm going to assume 19, let's say 21 or 23. But right here we start at 23. So this whole thing here, I've only researched the rugged shirt because it was a quest. This is way more armor, and you're just better off going down this tech tree and completely ignoring this one. So these are, as I dubbed them, the useless shirts. And tip number 9, the trust level of the town increases the cost of recruitment. So here we are in Padstow, and our trust level is friend. And if we had been here when we were associate, the cost of recruiting would have been lower. So as whenever you go up a tier of trust, the recruitment in that town also increases. So if you have the renown and you're near going into that next level and you want to recruit somebody, I highly recommend recruiting first and then turning in the quest that would give you the renown and increase the trust level, because you'll just be able to save yourself renown over time, and it just is more convenient that way. Earlier in the game, it's a little bit was more useful to me, because at the moment I have 2,000, so like you end up getting more and more renown, but earlier in the game you're a little bit more constrained on the resource in that department. So I would highly recommend first check out your trust level. If it's going to go up when you turn in a quest and you want a follower, grab the follower and then turn in the quest. It'll be more beneficial in the long run. And finally, one of the more convenient, helpful tricks that I learned is you can train companions from afar. So all you need to do is you have the books in your inventory. So here we have like Apprentice Cooking, for example, some Agility, Archery, and then you just pull up your map, find a follower that you would like, go to their attributes, and if they are not currently reading a book, which they are not, then as you can see here, I have the book for Archery in my inventory, or farming, for example, and then I can just click the plus sign, and then they will start reading the book. And then if I want another follower, I could also do the same thing. And let's see, what do we want them to do? Let's just give them farming. And so on and so forth. So rather than chasing after them, and then, going to their, doing the same thing, we can just do this completely from our map. Just find whoever you want to talk to and click the plus sign. Way easier than being like, hey, you, come over here. So that to me was a big tip, and that is why that is tip number 10. Anyhow, so that brings us to the end of the video. Like I said, it's Dio from Firm the Fair Gaming, so I hope you have enjoyed the video. We appreciate it. Like, share, and subscribe, so please click those buttons. And of course, you can come find me on Twitch, and that would be greatly appreciated. So I hope you're enjoying BellWright. I hope you found these tips / quality of life improvements helpful. If you have any questions or comments or any tips that you've uncovered that you would like to share, please drop them in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. And until next time, I hope you're enjoying BellWright. Happy bandit hunting, base building, companion gathering. Just hope you're having a blast. Take care.